Hello and welcome to the second season of Secrets of the Happy Life podcast. My name is Petra Bitenc and I'm your host. 1 year ago, I was sitting on a coastline of New Zealand and I was thinking how cool it would be to start recording some podcasts. And I did it right there I think I was in Lake Tekapo on a coastline. It's 1 year anniversary. And I decided to give you a special gift for this 1 year to celebrate it together with you. And I will read you the first chapter of my book, The Boundaries for a Better Life. And I wrote it because I had problems with setting boundaries. Because I was brought up in a way that you need to please others in order to feel good, to feel valued, to feel loved, and to feel that you can have some, value for yourself. And it was quite a learning curve for me to learn how to set boundaries, how to say no, how to tell and express what do I really feel. And I want to share this with you as a celebration of 1 year of recording the podcast. The podcast was firstly, I thought it to be more a fusion from psychology and from my traveling. But later it became more psychology topic podcast than it is a traveling podcast. I will still do some traveling insights when I will feel like something is really wow and I want to share this with you. But mostly I want to focus on different conversation with different people, and I really love talking with all of the experts out there, and also all of the people who think that they can contribute something for happiness to other people, who can teach us something from maybe their journey or from what they learn or what they observed in this world, and to give us a glimpse of their seeing on how to live a better life. And let's start. So, boundaries. We all need boundaries to protect ourselves. And boundaries define us. They define what is me and what is not me, said Dr. Henry Cloud with Dr. John Townsend. And the first chapter, the first prologue is, in a world that's constantly pushing us to do more, be more, and give more, it's easy to lose sight of what's truly important, our own well-being. That's where boundaries come in. Boundaries are the lines we draw around ourselves to protect our physical, emotional, and mental health. They're essential for living a fulfilling life and maintaining healthy relationships. But what exactly are boundaries, and how do we set them? This book is a guide to understanding and setting boundaries. It's a journey of self-discovery and self-care that will help you become more empowered, assertive, and confident in your interactions with others. You'll learn why boundaries are important, how to identify your personal boundaries, and how to communicate them efficiently with others. Through real-life examples, exercises, and practical tips, this book will help you navigate the complex terrain of boundaries. You will learn how to say no without feeling guilty, how to set limits with difficult people, and how to honor your own needs and desires. Whether you're struggling with relationships, work, or just life in general, this book will give you the tools you need to create a healthier, more fulfilling life. So, if you're ready to take control of your life, set healthy boundaries, and live with greater confidence and peace, then join us on this journey of self-discovery and transformation. The journey starts here. My personal example of setting boundaries. We were sitting over coffee, enjoying a pleasant summer day and chatting about life. The people around us were engrossed in their own conversations, some absorbed by their screens, oblivious to the company around them. Suddenly, a gust of wind came out of nowhere and tousled the ruffles on my friend's shirt. It's in my nature to lend a helping hand, so without thinking twice, I reached out and fixed her shirt. Only when she flinched and looked at me with wide, astonished eyes did I realize that I had crossed her personal boundary. I quickly apologized and gave myself a mental notice not to do this again. Setting boundaries is an essential part of our personal growth and well-being. Without boundaries, we can lose sight of our own needs and become enmeshed with those around us. We might feel overwhelmed and unclear about where our own responsibilities end and where others begin. This can lead to exhaustions, burnout, and even physical sickness. In contrast, setting personal boundaries help us protect ourselves and our relationships. Boundaries can be physical, emotional, or mental. For example, a physical boundary might be deciding to not let someone touch you without your consent, while an emotional boundary might involve setting limits on how much are you willing to share with others. Mental boundaries might involve learning to say no to things that do not align with your values or priorities. However, setting boundaries can be challenging, especially if we have been raised in cultures or families that emphasize putting others' needs before your own. In Slovenia, for example, the Christian ideology that many people are raised with teaches humility, compliance, and acceptance. While these values can be positive in certain situations, they can also lead us to neglect our own needs and desires. In order to set boundaries efficiently, we need to learn how to love and respect ourselves. This means acknowledging our feelings, thoughts, values, and beliefs, and learning to communicate them assertively to others. It also means recognizing that setting boundaries is not selfish or rude, but rather an act of self-care and respect. One common barrier to setting boundaries is feeling guilty or afraid of upsetting others. Many of us have been conditioned to believe that saying no to someone we care about is a sign of selfishness or lack of love. However, it is important to recognize that healthy relationships are built on mutual respect and understanding, not on one person always giving in to the other. Setting boundaries might feel uncomfortable or awkward at first, but it's a skill that can be learned with practice. It's also important to remember that boundaries can evolve over time, and what worked for us in the past might not work for us in the future. Being open to learning and growing is key to maintaining healthy relationships with others and ourselves. In conclusion, setting personal boundaries is essential for our well-being and relationships. It requires us to learn how to love and respect ourselves, communicate assertively, and be open to growth and change. By setting healthy boundaries, we can create a life that aligns with our own values and priorities, and build relationships that are based on mutual respect and understanding. So that was the first chapter of my book. Book is really short, so it's a short read, and it's filled with a lot of examples, with practices, with tips, with things to ponder on, to think about, and just to reflect on how are you with boundaries. Because we can have different styles of boundaries. We can have some boundaries that are really good with in our work environment, but at home, we like to set them. Or it might be the other way around. You are really good with boundaries at home, but when you come out to your social environment, then you just feel overwhelmed and you become this or people pleaser or whatever is your modus operandi. So I invite you to read the whole book and give me some feedback. How was it for you? How helpful was it? Because I believe it is really helpful with all these tips, with all these exercises, and many people have learned how to set proper boundaries after reading it. Yeah. If you have any questions for me about why don't we set boundaries? And the common misbelief is that we don't set boundaries because we are afraid that we will hurt somebody else or that somebody else will suffer. But no. The real reason why we don't set boundaries is because it's uncomfortable for us. When we set boundaries and we are not used to set boundaries, we anticipate what others will think or what others will say or how the others will feel. And because of that, we feel inside this anxiety, this pain, this unknown territory. And that's why, because we feel uncomfortable, we don't set the boundaries. And with this book, you will learn how to feel comfortable with setting boundaries, because what setting boundaries really does is that improves relationships. I know what are my values. I know how to communicate them. I value the values of others also, because it's not only about me, it's also about the others, like in our first example that I gave. When I was crossing the personal boundaries of my friend, and this is good to know that it's not only us that we need to set boundaries, it's on us also that we honor the personal boundaries of others. And with that, I'm closing today's podcast. I hope you learned something new. I hope you got the curiosity on how to set boundaries, how to set better, healthy boundaries with others, so you feel good and they feel good and you get better relationship through setting boundaries. Have a really nice day. I'm here for you if you need something, if you have some questions. Feel free to like, to comment, to share this episode if I know you will feel it worthy to share it, and just do that. And big thank you to all. Have a really nice day. Enjoy. Bye.